Hello friends, it is Jackie from Pocket of Preschool and I'm coming to you live tonight because we are talking all about sensory bags and how to use them in the classroom. And you guys, I have so many ideas for you. I can't wait to share all the things. So I'm going to tell you really quick couple things at the top. So there's links to my blog, which have more sensory ideas there. I want you to tell me, do you use sensory bags in your classroom right now? Or is this something you want to try? Have you not tried them? Kind of where is everybody at? If you're a homeschool mom or if you're homeschooling right now, tell me if you are using them with your kiddos or all the things. Tell me all the things about sensory bags and how you use them in your classroom in the comments, because we are here to learn from each other as well. All right, so what is a sensory bag, first of all, right? So a sensory bag is basically a bag with gushy things on the inside. I typically use hair gel, but I'm gonna tell you guys some other ideas. But you typically put something gushy in the side, so the sensory material is inside the baggie, so the kids are getting the sensory experience without getting messy, which is perfect for all of the COVID things going on right now. Like, you can literally sanitize, put sensory inside, sanitize the outside, and then reuse them and be good to go. So that is why they're great for all this COVID time again. And I'm going to tell you, some people are like, I'm worried they're going to break. I'm going to tell you how I keep them from breaking, how I keep them from year to year or season to season. So I'm going to tell you all my tricks, you guys. You guys are going to love this. Okay, so there's a couple different ways you can do sensory bags. So you can just do them for fun, like this one just has feathers. I'm going to move this. So this one just has feathers. So it's literally hair gel and feathers, and the kids can move them around, and as they're moving things, whether they're writing or sorting in these bags or just exploring or counting, whatever concept you're doing, or if it's just an exploration bag, like for toddlers, these are perfect for exploration bags. They are using those fine motor muscles. They're using hand-eye coordination, bilateral integration, so they're using both hands at the same time. They're crossing the midline as they're going across. So they're doing so many things, and they're problem solving because they're trying usually to move something in there or make something. So there's so many skills. And if there's somebody next to them, they might be watching what they're doing. So they're observing, they might be talking to each other about their bags. So it's tons of oral language. So lots and lots of skills just in these little sensory bags. Because if you guys put these out in your classroom, I want you to be able to tell people why you're doing them when they walk in the room. Because we all know we have to do lesson plans. We sometimes, a lot of times, have to say why we're doing what we're doing, or we may have to explain it to parents. So you can say we have sensory bags at the light table or in the science center or in the writing center because it's great fine motor, problem solving, and then whatever other skill you're doing. Maybe it's a color, you're exploring colors. Maybe you're doing letters, so all those literacy standards are in there. So that's kind of why, and I will make some with you tonight. You can't see, but I'm surrounded by supplies, so we're gonna make some together tonight too. So this one, like I said, it's gonna be gorgeous at the light table. It's literally feathers in a baggie with hair gel, and then I duct tape it closed. So this is one really fun one, and you guys, it's hair gel from the dollar store. I usually get, so this one I put half a bottle of hair gel in. So you usually get 2 to 3. For my writing sensory bags, I can get 3 or 4 bags, sensory bags out of this. But if it's something where I want them to really move stuff around, I usually put a half a bottle in a baggie. So a half a bottle if they're just like moving and grooving stuff. So this is one idea. And then the baggies I use, so don't use dollar store brand baggies. Use either like a Ziploc or the Target or some brand, you know, that's a little bit thicker, because kids' nails can puncture them. And like, I think this was the one. Yeah, I punctured this one on the back because I was shaking the hair gel in, and I punctured the bag with the with the bottle. And all I do is I will just take a piece of clear packing tape, and wherever the hole is, I'll just dry it off and I'll just put it on there, and then I'll push it on, and then usually it'll last maybe another couple months. So if you have a hole, just put some clear packing tape on it and you'll be good to go for a while. If your kiddos are puncturing them a lot, or maybe they're squishing their nail in them, freezer bags are great. They are. I typically use the quart size, just because if I use the gallon size, I'm using a lot of hair gel and materials, but if I use the quart size, I can make more. I think it's just kind of the best size for me. But if you want to do gallon size one, that's fine too. And that way too, if they break, you know what else you can do? So cut the top off and take everything that's inside and just pour it into a new baggie. So that way you're not wasting the contents. You're just pouring it into a new one. And I'll make one with you guys in just a minute. So, the other thing that you can do, if your kiddos are puncturing them, have them use a pom-pom, just like on writing trays, and have them move whatever's inside the baggie, or write, or whatever it is, with the pom-pom. Because now they're pushing with the pom-pom, and the pom-pom is soft, because it's usually their nails that puncture it. So yeah, so you can tell the pom-poms worked really good, and look at that pincer grasp when they're using that pom-pom. So it's awesome, awesome, awesome. So yeah, so this one is just feathers, like literally feathers in a bag. So here is another one that I literally made tonight. This one obviously is for letter recognition. I did put some pom-poms in this one. So this one just has foam letters, which I think these are from like Discount School Supply. They're the foam, so you can put anything foam in here that doesn't have the sticker on the back. So these are just foam letters from Discount School Supply. And then I also just put some pom-poms in it. And I know some people like try and get this off the label. You can't, I forgot what you use to get it off, but I usually don't care. I usually just have them put that side down, and then they can explore what's in the bag. So if you had these out, these would be really fun for back to school, and you could be like, what letter are you moving? Oh, I'm moving the N. What sound does N make? Does anybody's name start with N? And you can have all those great conversations about letters, and look, they're just moving the letters around. Oh, what letter in your bag is green? Oh, I have a green Y. And then you're encouraging those great literacy conversations. And all the time that you're having these conversations and you're talking about letters, they are doing something. They are moving and grooving and exploring. So it's not just some boring conversation at Circle. Not that our conversations are boring at Circle, but this gets them actively engaged, and they can touch the letter, they can trace it, they can be like, oh, this one's backwards. Do you have any backwards letters in your bag? And you can say, oh, flip it over, and then now it's the right way. So this is another fun one. And again, you can just put these out in the library center or the writing center or at the light table. And you can see this one's starting to turn a little bit pink. So some things that have a red dye in them or a blue dye, that dye is a little bit strong, so it will change the color of the hair gel sometimes, just so you know. Another fun one where you can sneak in some math are these shapes. And again, they can just move the shapes around with either their finger, or if they're puncturing it with the pom-pom. And you can also say, oh, can you get a circle to the top of, or here, let me turn around this way. Can you get a rectangle to the top? Put all your shapes at the bottom and say, okay, everybody get a rectangle to the top. And you can have them move the rectangle to the top. And you can talk about the rectangle, and they can trace it with their finger and say, okay, everybody find a oval. Find an oval and get an oval to the top. Is your oval big? Is your oval small? So I know these look like super simple sensory bags, but you guys, if you have those conversations and if you're asking those questions, one, they're gonna go to the center and do it independently after you're modeling that. But it's so much more. It's so much more. You're having rich conversation, all of that, language and literacy. It's just so much fun. So these are just literally foam shapes. from Discount School Supply. I love, Discount School Supply has an amazing selection of foam things, different letters, numbers, all the things. So you can do shapes, you can do letters, you can do feathers. This one I know my kinder teachers are gonna love. So you can do sight word bags. So I just took those foam letters and then I took a Sharpie and wrote 3 sight words and I just put those letters in that bag. So that way they have to move. And obviously I'm doing this upside down so you guys can see it. But they're just moving those letters and they'll be like N-I-N and they can make that sight word. And then they can move this one and make the word the. And they can move it. And it's just so much more hands-on. You're sneaking in that sensory because when you're integrating all of their senses, 1, they're gonna have less behavior problems, and 2, it's just gonna sink in so much more. And we know from research that if they learn through play and they learn by doing, they will learn it quicker and faster than if it's just that rote, boring worksheet learning. So some people are asking how long these last. So let me tell you. So I made these 3 years ago. And I only use them for when I do the summer theme, but here's kind of what happens to them when they get old and if they're not punctured. I made 6. I think I have 2 left out of 6. And I use them for a small group, and then I put them in the writing center. These I put sequins in, but you can see it just kind of like, I don't think it like really evaporates, but it just kind of like, I don't know, just like gets flat. And it isn't as much, it like dries up, I guess. Like here's another one, so you can see how it's kind of dried up in the corner, but like these 2 lasted me. Again, I made 6 of these 3 years ago. I use them for when we did a summer theme. And they lasted, up to, 2 years. I got 2 good years out of them. But I only had them out for probably a month in the classroom. And yeah, so it's something like everything else in the classroom. You have to do a small group on it. You have to introduce what it is. You have to teach them how to use them appropriately. Like if they're going like this to them and they're squeezing them, you can talk about what's a green choice with a sensory bag, what's a red choice with a sensory bag, or good and bad choices, whatever you do in your classroom. And talk about how we are gentle with our bags. We don't scratch them. We use a pom-pom to move the things if your kiddos are having trouble with just using their fingers. So it's just like anything else in your classroom. You gotta kind of do a small group or do a little circle time class meeting about how to use them appropriately. Okay, so somebody's asking, how do you sanitize them? So in my state, we did the soap, water, bleach, soap. We did the 3-step method. We had the soapy water, the regular water, and then we did bleach. So we would spray them with soap, dry them off. Spray them with the bleach, the clean water, and then dry them off. And then we would do the bleach, and we would let them air dry just out, and then that's how we would sanitize them. So depending on your state guidelines or your center or your whatever guidelines you have, if you use Clorox wipes, I'm sure that works too. But that's just what my state guidelines were on how to sanitize these, because somebody is asking about how you sanitize them in the comments. So yeah, so these are some fun ones you can make that are just kind of a little bit different than a typical sensory bag. But I want to show you what I typically use sensory bags for in my classroom. So I typically make sensory bags that are usually just like, these are a solid color. I have these, again, it's just like anything else in my classroom. I rotate it, so they're not out, for months and months and months. They might be out for a month and then they go away and then they come back again. But I just have like one of every color that I can put out that way with any theme or any season. I made 2 of every color. You can tell I only have 2 left of the black and the green. The other ones have bit the dust. But this is what I typically use them for. I think you could see green the best. So typically, I have my kiddos write with them. So I put out letter cards, or they like put out letter cards on the table, and then they pick a letter card and then they write the letter in the bag. So we use them for writing in my classroom. That's typically what we use them for. And then to erase, they just squish, 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 squish. So again, and you can use, these letter cards, for those of you who are asking, these are from my Fine Motor Journal pack. So you can just have letter cards out. You can do sight words with these. You can also, if you have threes or for the beginning of the year, you can just have them make different types of lines. Again, this is from my Fine Motor Journals pack. If you're just joining us, it's just hair gel in these baggies. And I'm gonna make one in about 2 minutes with you guys. So you can put this out and be like, okay, everybody make long lines. Down, 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 stop. Down, 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 stop. Down, 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 stop. And squish to erase. So that is so much more fun than doing a worksheet where they're making lines. So much more fun. So that's typically what I use them for. Now, I know you guys are dying for me to make one. So let's make one together, because I know you guys are asking about how I do all the colors and all the things. So I take a baggie, again, quart size, a thick baggie. I use the Target brand, and then dollar store hair gel. And again, you can use we'll make a writing one. So probably I just eyeball it, probably about half or a third-ish of the dollar store hair gel. And let's make a pink one. And I use liquid watercolor. You can also use food dye, but if you use paint, it does something and it makes it watery for some reason. I guess it's just too much water. Let me find my pink. This one says pink. Okay, so again, just liquid watercolor, any kind will work. You only need a couple drops. And then I just squish it to the bottom, and I make sure I have enough color in there. Like, of course, now I said not very much, but I just put a couple drops in, and then I just squish it around to make sure it's the color I want. And of course, because I'm on Facebook Live, this one kind of looks purple, but that's okay. Oh, there's the pink. And then I just squish it all the way to the bottom, and then I get all, if it's wet, it won't seal. So make sure you seal it really good. And again, just liquid watercolor. I use discount school supply, but you can use any kind of liquid watercolor or food dye. And then I use duct tape for the top. So I just grab some duct tape, and I typically have it match, but you can also use clear tape. And then I just put it on the top, and then I use my tape scissors. So I have scissors that I just use for tape, so I don't ruin all my good scissors, because duct tape will ruin your scissors for sure, guys. And then I do make it go over the edges, and I'll show you why in just a minute. And then I just line it up and push really, really hard to make sure I get all of it out. And then I just cut it, and I usually just leave that little piece on so I can get the duct tape the next time. And then I just trim the sides, and I don't cut it like even, I leave it a little bit of an edge, and then I just squeeze, 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 and you can see I didn't line it up perfect. So I just trim a little tiny bit off the top, just so there's no like sticky part. And then oh, I forgot, I usually put glitter in it. Oops. So I would typically put glitter in it. So if I was making pink, I'd put pink glitter in it. You can use like fine glitter, because all of these have glitter in them. You can kind of see. It's probably hard with the TV or the phone glare. But then you have your writing bag, and you guys you don't need a ton in them if you're making them for writing. I probably should have put more color in this one, but you know what? It is okay. It works. But yeah, don't forget to put glitter in them because it just makes it really pretty. And you can use like fine glitter, or like you can use like the thicker glitter. So either glitter works, like the fine teeny tiny glitter or that big thick glitter. So yeah, and then again, you can just have them pick a name card. They can also practice writing their names in them. So he could, you know, if you had Jude, he can make the J. Okay, I probably should put a little bit more hair gel on this one, but that's okay. So yeah, so they're super simple to make. Super, super simple. This one, again, it always happens when I'm on Facebook Live, but I probably should have put a little bit more hair gel on this one and a little bit more color, but that's okay. So yeah, so you can just make plain ones. You can also make themed ones, like these. So I made these 3 years ago for Halloween. I did hair gel. These are eyeballs, and then I did glitter, like a thick glitter. These I probably would have to make new ones this year on some of these, but they are really fun. They can move the eyeballs around, or when I use them, we, again, just wrote our letters in them. So they would pick a letter card, and they would write their letters in the baggie. And also, too, when your hair gel bags, when they get old, they will get air pockets in them, too. So like this one, you can tell it's old because there's like a big air pocket in the bottom. But again, these are 3 years old. There's tape right here. I probably would have to make new ones. So if you have a rough class, I'd say they probably last you 1 year. If you have a class that takes care of things a little bit better, or maybe you introduce them later in the year when they've kind of, you know, gotten used to school and calmed down a little bit and just are used to, you know, being a little bit more gentle with school tools, I'd probably say they last you 2 years, probably. So let's make another one together. This time I'll do a little bit better. All right, so we're gonna make, so since fall's coming up, I thought in my fall center pack, I have these fall leaf letters. So if you have my fall centers pack, and I know Facebook is backwards on me tonight, there's these fall letters. And you can do this for any theme. Let's see. So you can get these little, like, what are they? Table scatter? Table scatter or sequins. These are from Hobby Lobby. So what you can do is, so we're gonna make a fall themed sensory bag since fall is coming up. So again, maybe I'll put a little bit more in this one. There we go. So again, you can eyeball it. There we go. And then I just flatten the air out of it. And let's make this one, let's make it orange for fall. Orange. Orange liquid watercolor. And just squish it at the bottom to get that color around. Ooh, there we go. Now we got the pretty color. So there's about that much hair gel in it, just right at the bottom. And then I'm gonna take some of these leaf sequins and I'm just gonna put some of these in. Now, whatever you put in, it can't be pointy, because if it's pointy, well, it will puncture your bag. So we don't want that to happen. So I'm just gonna put some leaves in there and then some glitter. So I'm gonna grab some orange glitter. Put some of that in there. Oh, that's probably too much glitter, but that's fine. Yeah, and so these letters, I see some of you guys asking, these are in my fall math and literacy centers pack. So I have all of that in there. And I'm just gonna squish it all to the end to make sure I get all the air out. And then I'm just gonna use some duct tape and put that over the top. And I just go over the top of it. And again, I do it over the edges so that way, like I don't puncture the bag when I cut it. And then I just make it match over the top, push it down, and then I cut it. And then you can just squish it around, kind of get all of whatever you put inside kind of everywhere. And now, oh, look you guys, look how pretty. Look at that, like that is gorgeous. There's like glitter and the leaf sequins. So it just, again, it makes writing a little bit more fun. So you can even give them an orange pom-pom and they can pick a letter. Like this one is X and they can make a giant X. Then they can pick another letter and squish, squish, squish to erase. They pick C, they can go around and stop. And if it bothers your kiddos to have this move around, what you can do is you can just take some Scotch tape and tape the corners to the table. If it bothers them, but kind of once they get used to it, they kind of get used to kind of holding the bag with one hand, and that's actually really good for them to practice because when they are writing, they have to hold the paper. Someone asked us, do the sequins ever lose color? I would say probably after about a year, 2 years, they probably start to lose their color, but they'll probably be good for probably about 2 years. If you don't have liquid watercolor, you can totally use food dye too, or that gel food coloring that you can get at like Michael's. You can use that too. And then in my fall center pack, this activity also comes with uppercase letters. So if you have 3-year-olds, you can use the uppercase letters, or it also comes with sight word cards. So you can have them pick a sight word too, and they can write their sight words in baggie. T-O-2. And now they're practicing sight words. You can even have them find the letters, make the sight word, and then write it in the sensory bag. So then you're even adding more and more fun. So I know you guys are so excited about this. So, and let's say this bag gets punctured. Let's say there's a hole like right here on the edge. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a paper towel. There isn't really, but I'm gonna pretend. You just dry it off so you get all the food coloring out, kind of make a spot. Got food coloring on the table. So make it to where there's no food coloring there. You just take some tape and you just put it over the hole and you should be good to go. So if your kid's like, oh, mine's squirting out, just grab the bag, dry it off in that spot, and grab some tape. Because it'll happen. It'll happen, because they're kids. But that's why you use dollar store hair gel. Because if it pops, then it's no big deal. Just cut the corner, squirt everything out into a new baggie, and just make a new one. So you're not having to like buy all of this again. So that's a fun idea. All right, you ready for another fun idea? Something different to put in. So if you are doing winter, you can grab conditioner or lotion from the dollar store and squirt some in there. And again, probably about 1/3 of the bottle. That's probably a little bit more. Ooh, this smells like coconut. Now I'm kind of hungry for some ice cream. So, and you can also do shaving cream in here too, but the shaving cream, I noticed that it kind of evaporates. So squirt it all to the back. Zip it closed. Grab some duct tape, which I have in like every color because I love duct tape. Oh, you know what else is really fun for fall while I'm closing this so I don't have to talk through it again. Again, make sure it's super, super closed. You know what's really fun is, you know how the kids don't want to touch all the pumpkin guts when you open a pumpkin? Put all the pumpkin guts in a sensory bag, and then they can touch it without being grossed out. Or if you have a kiddo that slime bothers them, put their slime in a sensory bag. That way they can participate without having to touch it. With any sensory thing. Maybe you're doing shaving cream and nobody wants to touch it. That's totally fine. Oh, you know what I was gonna do? I totally forgot. Okay, we're gonna try this one again. So, like I said, let's pretend there was a hole in that. I'm just gonna cut a hole in the corner. I got to talking. And then you just squirt it out into the next bag. Because I was gonna add something fun in here and I forgot. So, there we go. That one goes in the trash. We'll just pretend like there was a hole in it. And you might wanna add just a little bit more in there because there's probably some in the side. Now, you know these little, what are they, foam beads? These are so fun to put in here. Like anything to give it a little bit of texture, because that way it's bumpy, so it's just like any other sensory thing. Anything to give it a little bit of texture just makes it extra fun. You can find some glitter. I have glitter all over me. Put in some glitter. So you can tell, like you could do this for snow or for the Arctic. And again, all this stuff is from the dollar store. The dollar store is really good about having glitter lately. I've noticed it mine anyways. Okay. So I'm just gonna scoot it all down here to the bottom to make sure I have all the air out because I don't. Close it up. And then now put the tape on. I know you guys are so excited. Everybody's like, I can't wait to make these for my class. They're so much fun. And if your kiddos too, if those first couple times if they are puncturing them, it's okay. Especially since we're not, like class is not normal right now, right? Everything is a little bit crazy with COVID and we can't do all the sensory we're used to doing. So they may puncture them more at first just because they're really needing that sensory right now. So let me just squish it all down here and then I'll mix it up. Don't have the kids do this though. Just you being all gentle. And then you can squish it out. I'm trying to find a white pom-pom. Hold on, sorry. And then you can't really see it, I don't think, on the video, but when they move it, they can feel the snow in it. Here, let me try and smush it up. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's glittery and it's got the little snowballs in it, so it's just extra fun. And you could do this even with the rainbow foam beads, so you don't have to wait until it's like Arctic time. So this is really fun. And again, they can make letters. I'll just make a big X. And then squish to erase. But oh my gosh, you guys, this feels amazing with these foam beads in it. Like I can't stop touching it. So I'm sure the kiddos will be so excited to have some fun new writing tools. So again, quart baggie. This one has conditioner from the dollar store in it, and then duct tape at the top. I will say, I know some people are super brave and put water and oil in them for an awesome sensory bag, but I've never done that because my luck, the kids would puncture it and I would have oil and water, and it makes me nervous to have oil and water on the floor. I would be afraid somebody would fall. So I always put something in here that's a little bit thicker, like conditioner or shaving cream, or hair gel from the dollar store. You can also do just like paint. I just made this one really quick before the Facebook Live. So if you're doing firefighters, I did this one on my blog. I showed you guys when I do the community helper theme. I take orange paint. I'll put orange paint in here too, and then they can make their letters in the fire. So that's really fun. You can't see it as much in the paint, but that's okay. Or you can explore color mixing. Like if a kiddo doesn't want to touch anything, they can just mix the colors. And look at this, as they're mixing, you guys, they have to use all those fine motor muscles. And you can talk about, oh, what's happening to the color? How is it changing? So that's how you can sneak in science. You can do color mixing. You can put in like the insides of a pumpkin. You could put like, you could put the hair gel in here with some leaves from when it's fall. You could put hair gel and flowers in here. hair gel and you know those worms in the fishing section at Walmart? That would be really fun in here. I mean, you guys, the sky is the limit with these. You can make so many fun science things with these. If your kiddo put the insides of a squash in here, or a gourd. And also too, if you put it in here, zip it and tape it closed, you're not gonna get mold, because when you have that inside of a pumpkin, you always have to toss it at the end of the day because it gets gross and moldy. So if you put the inside of a pumpkin in here, then it won't get gross and moldy, and you can keep it for probably like a week-ish before it gets gross. So I'm trying to think. Oh, another idea I had would be to use loom band. So on my website, I have a ton of sensory bottle ideas. So you can take anything that is inside of a sensory bottle, and instead of using the water and glue, use hair gel. So you can make a loom band sensory bottle with loom bands and hair gel. You can tell I have a bunch. So do loom bands and hair gel, and then tape the top closed. So that would be really fun too. I did a link at the top of this post to my blog, so you can look up sensory bottles for inspiration to make different sensory bags for different seasons. Somebody's asking, are freezer bags thicker? And yes, they are. So if your kids are puncturing them, definitely switch to a freezer bag. If you have kiddos that maybe can't, maybe their fine motor muscles just aren't there yet, or if you have toddlers, you know those reusable baggies you can, like, they're plastic and you like wash them, you can use those. Just and then you could like literally toss the contents of this in the trash can, and there is biodegradable glitter too. Just toss the insides in the trash can and use the reusable baggie. So if you have toddlers and they're puncturing it over and over and over, you can totally do that. So yeah, somebody's asking what I'm using to write. So this is just a pom-pom, just normal pom-pom. You can use a little pom-pom. You can use a bigger one. If your kiddos are having trouble with this one, you can just bump it up and use a little bit bigger one too. And my crayons, somebody asked where are my crayons. They're from the Target Dollar Spot during back to school. The white foam beads, so these are from the dollar store. They typically have them in like the, you know, the, what is it called? Like the craft section. Oftentimes the Target Dollar Spot will have fun. This is like stuff I got last year. There's like tree glitter. This one has this little snowflake like table scatter. So you can also check Hobby Lobby for that stuff. Like this is like Doc McStuffin's table scatter that somebody donated to my classroom. This would be fun for a spring sensory baggie. So you can really put anything you want in there. I have some other ideas for things you can put in your sensory bottles. So you can also do pony beads in your sensory bags. You can do eyeballs. You can put mini erasers in there, and if you want to keep them after they're done with those, they just cut a hole in the bottom and get all your mini erasers out. And you guys, you can wash mini erasers. I don't know if you knew that. Just soapy water. I put my mini erasers in a colander and I wash them that way. Just soapy water. You can also use these letter beads. Oh, this was my idea. So if you wanted to make name sensory baggies, I would use these. These are like lacing letters. I use these all the time. If you guys follow me, you know I love these lacing letters. They're learning resources. They're great. But you can make name sensory baggies, so you could get the letters to their name and make everybody their own name sensory baggie. And you could also write it on the baggie like I did with these sight words. Or you could just put the letters in there. That works too. You could also do buttons because they're round and fun. You can do foam, any kind of foam, fun things that you find like at Michael's. Discount School Supply has tons of fun foam things, Amazon. You can do letters, shapes, anything you want. You can just do a bag of pom-poms. Like that would be really fun too. I have these big stars. You can do big or little. And then any kind of fun table scatter. This is just from Hobby Lobby. There's like space. It's usually, it's called confetti. So if you just go to that aisle, there's a ton of confetti at the Hobby Lobby. And then these are sequins just from the dollar store, Dollar Tree. So you could put just sequins in there. That works too. Like you guys, you can do whatever you want with these sensory baggies. So I hope I inspired you to make some sensory baggies for your kiddos for your classroom, because we need sensory. Their brains literally need that sensory input, and they will learn quicker and faster, and they will be more engaged. There will be less problem behaviors. They will be building all the fine motor muscles when you use sensory baggies in the classroom. So I hope you guys had an awesome time and learned a lot. Make sure you are sharing all the sensory bags in the Facebook group, because you guys, I'm loving, and I know everyone else is loving too, all of the mini sensory bins everyone is sharing right now, because 2 weeks ago I did a Facebook Live on mini sensory bins, like for individual kiddos to use. The group is like blowing up with them, and they are all awesome. People are getting ideas for themed ones, and it's oh my gosh, you guys are inspiring each other, you're inspiring me. So make sure you, when you make yours, post them in the Facebook group so we can all see and be inspired by you, and we can celebrate you, because you guys, this is hard work. Like being a preschool teacher, pre-K, TK, kinder, it's hard. And you know what? You guys deserve a round of applause for all the hard work you do. So we will give you all the applause you need. I typically buy duct tape at Walmart because it's the cheapest. Unless I use my coupon. Like if there's if you don't have like a reason to use your Michaels coupon, they're 40% off one, then you can buy Michaels at duct tape at Michaels. But otherwise, Walmart is the cheapest place, and they have every color you can think of, because this girl has all the duct tape. There's like silver and gold and all the things, because I use these for you can use these for tops of sensory bottles too. So yeah, I love duct tape. All right, well, you guys have an awesome night. I will see you next week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.